For centuries, ships vanished beneath the waves, entombed in darkness, their secrets lost beyond reach. But in 6 mysterious shipwrecks discovered in the deep sea, new technology shattered that silence. Suddenly, explorers could see nearly 7 kilometers down, uncovering war graves, sunken empires, and ancient trade routes that history forgot. How did we finally learn to read the ocean's hidden record, and what else lies waiting in the abyss? For generations, when a ship vanished into the deep, it simply ceased to exist for those left behind. The ocean swallowed hulls, cargo, and crew alike, erasing every trace. Without survivors or a message in a bottle, families faced only silence. The world's greatest navies, merchants, and explorers all shared the same helplessness. No chart showed where a vessel had gone down. No diver could reach the crushing blackness miles below. Even the most powerful empires could only guess at the fate of lost convoys or warships. The Atlantic, Pacific, and Indian Oceans became graveyards without markers, their secrets locked away by pressure and darkness. Sailors' tales hinted at storms, pirates, or sudden disaster, but these were fragments, never proof. Sometimes fishermen would dredge up a barnacled timber or a piece of carved wood, offering a fleeting glimpse of a tragedy decades or centuries old. But for every artifact found, thousands more ships slipped into oblivion, their stories untold. The deep ocean acted as a vault, sealing away evidence so completely that even the most determined searchers could do little but hope for luck. For centuries, the bottom of the sea was a blank page, history written in invisible ink, waiting for the means to reveal it. Everything changed in the 1980s when remotely operated vehicles, ROVs, began reaching depths that no human diver could survive. These underwater drones, tethered to research ships by long cables, became the eyes and hands of scientists in places where sunlight never penetrates. Early ROVs were crude by today's standards, but even then they could descend thousands of meters and send back live video of the ocean floor. By the 1990s, advances in sonar and digital imaging allowed researchers to scan wide swaths of seabed, revealing hidden shapes and patterns that hinted at wrecks lost for centuries. As technology advanced, so did ambition. The 2010s saw the rise of autonomous underwater vehicles, or AUVs, and the use of photogrammetry, a process that stitches together thousands of overlapping images to create detailed 3D models of shipwrecks. These models captured every plank, amphora, and cannon in astonishing clarity, preserving sites exactly as they lay. Scientists began mapping entire trenches and basins with multi-beam sonar, turning what was once guesswork into a methodical search. ROVs now dive several kilometers deep, navigating with ultra-long baseline acoustic positioning systems that keep them steady in the pitch black. High-powered LED arrays cut through the darkness, while real-time data streams to the surface for instant analysis. With these tools, the abyss is no longer invisible. For the first time, explorers can systematically search the ocean's hidden vaults, transforming the impossible into routine discovery. On June 26, 2022, Victor Vescovo sat inside the Limiting Factor, a titanium sphere designed to withstand the weight of nearly 7 kilometers of ocean pressing from all sides. The submersible dropped through layer after layer of darkness, guided by sonar echoes and the faint signals of navigation beacons. At 6,985 meters, almost 4.3 miles down, the searchers found what no one else had ever seen: the broken remains of the USS Samuel B. Roberts. The ship lay split in two, its hull twisted by the violence of its final plunge. This was the deepest shipwreck ever discovered. The Sammy B had gone down in 1944 during a battle where its crew faced a fleet many times their size. 89 men died with the ship. Their final resting place is so deep that sunlight has never touched it, and the pressure would crush any ordinary vessel in seconds. The site is treated with the respect owed to a war grave. Its exact coordinates remain classified, known only to a handful of officials and the expedition team. Even with the best equipment, the discovery was never certain. Sonar images offered only ghostly outlines. Only when Vescovo peered out through the viewport and recognized the bridge, the gun mounts, and the battered hull did the truth settle in. The moment brought both awe and gravity, a reminder that technology can reveal what was lost, but some places demand reverence. The Sammy B story, hidden for decades in pitch-black silence, had finally been confirmed. The ocean had given up one of its secrets, and the world's deepest war grave was no longer invisible. The USS Johnston rested unseen in the Philippine Trench for nearly 8 decades before explorers located it at a depth of 6,468.9 meters, just over 4 miles beneath the surface. When found in 2021, it became the deepest shipwreck ever identified, if only for a short time. Like the Sammy B, the Johnston was lost during the same 1944 battle, where smaller American ships faced a much larger Japanese force. The Philippine Trench, where both ships now lie, stretches down more than 10 kilometers at its deepest, forming one of the most extreme environments on the planet. For months, the Johnston's discovery stood as a world record, a testament to how quickly technology was advancing. Yet even as researchers celebrated, the possibility lingered that more wrecks from the same battle, and perhaps even deeper mysteries, remained hidden in the trench's vast, unmapped reaches. Each new find seemed to push the boundaries of what was thought possible, hinting at an ocean floor still full of secrets waiting to be revealed. A merchant ship from the Bronze Age rests on the seabed 1,800 meters below the surface, nearly 60 miles from the nearest land. Measuring just 12 to 14 meters long, the vessel's wooden frame has collapsed, but its cargo remains. Hundreds of Canaanite amphorae lie in orderly rows, undisturbed for over 3 millennia. When archaeologists recovered 2 jars and analyzed their contents, the dating placed them between 1400 and 1200 BCE, a period when scholars believed sailors never left sight of shore. The ship's position in open water with no land on the horizon overturned that assumption. Ancient mariners must have used the sun and stars to guide them across vast distances, centuries before written navigation records. In the Black Sea, another revelation awaited. In 2016, researchers scanning for geological data discovered not a single wreck, but a fleet. 40 ships spanning 2,500 years, from the age of Greek city-states to the Ottoman Empire. Many were found between 93 and 300 meters deep below the oxygen line. Here, the water is anoxic, almost no oxygen, no wood-eating organisms. Ropes still coil on decks, masts stand upright, and hulls look freshly built. The chemistry of the Black Sea has preserved these vessels in a suspended moment, offering a time capsule untouched by decay or human hands. Pirates and merchants left their mark far from the spotlight of empires. In 2005, a research team searching the seabed between Morocco and Spain found a shipwreck at 823 meters. Just 45 feet long, the vessel carried 4 cannons and 10 swivel guns, its hull still packed with muskets and supplies. Historians link it to the Barbary Corsairs, North African pirates who struck fear into European shipping centuries before the Caribbean legends. Its fate remains unknown, but the wreck offers a rare look at a world where speed and firepower meant survival. Off southern France, a military drone in June 2025 revealed another secret. Camerotte 4, a 16th century merchantman resting at 8,422 feet. Nearly 200 ceramic jugs, some stamped with the monogram HIS, lay among yellow Ligurian plates. 6 cannons, 2 cauldrons, and an anchor dotted the seafloor, untouched for centuries. The French Defense Ministry called it exceptional, a silent record of Renaissance trade, risk, and ambition preserved in the deep. In 2022, the USS Samuel B. Roberts was verified at 6,985 meters, becoming the deepest shipwreck ever found. This milestone was only possible because of breakthroughs in deep-sea robotics and sonar mapping that began in the 1980s. Each discovery featured in this documentary, the Johnston, the Bronze Age Merchant, the Black Sea Fleet, the Barbary Corsair, and Cameron 4, has overturned what historians thought was possible about navigation, preservation, and maritime conflict. Yet many questions remain. The exact locations of war graves like the Sammy B are still classified, and researchers believe other ships from historic battles may rest even deeper, waiting to be found. Today, the combination of historical records and advanced technology continues to reveal a hidden archive beneath the waves. These shipwrecks are more than lost vessels. They are evidence of human exploration, trade, and resilience. As scientists map more of the abyss, each new find rewrites the history of our relationship with the sea. 95% of the deep ocean remains unexplored. Yet even with our most advanced technology, new discoveries still defy logic. Like a 60-meter disk on the Baltic seabed, scrambling all electronics, and a golden sphere found 3,000 meters down that no scientist can explain. In 6 mysterious things discovered in the deep sea, we reveal not just what has been found, but why each revelation forces us to question everything we thought we knew. The deeper we look, the more the mysteries multiply. So what are we truly missing beneath the waves? In June 2011, a Swedish expedition led by Peter Lindberg set out across the northern Baltic Sea, searching for shipwrecks with side-scan sonar. Instead, their instruments revealed something no one expected: a perfectly circular object, 60 meters across, resting at a depth of 91 meters. Its outline was so distinct and symmetrical that it drew immediate comparisons to the Millennium Falcon from Star Wars. Extending behind the disk was a 300-meter-long stretch of seabed, flattened as if something massive had skidded to a stop. When the team returned with divers and remotely operated cameras, the mystery deepened. Within 200 meters of the object, electronic equipment began to fail. Sonar screens flickered, satellite phones lost signal, and underwater cameras went dark. Every device powered back on only after they retreated from the site. No clear explanation has been found for this interference, and the equipment logs offered no obvious fault or environmental cause. Lindberg described stair-step formations on the disk, features that seem too regular for chance. If constructed, he noted, it would have to predate the last ice age. Media outlets seized on the story, fueling wild speculation about sunken UFOs and lost civilizations. Scientists, meanwhile, pointed to the region's glacial history. They argued the disk could be a natural rock formation, perhaps shaped by glacial movement and deposition. Yet the questions persist. Why such perfect geometry, and why the electronic blackout? The Baltic Sea anomaly remains one of the most confounding discoveries on the ocean floor. But here's where the mystery thickens. Even with new surveys and analysis, no single theory fits all the evidence, leaving the true nature of the Baltic disk unresolved. In the waters off Yonaguni, Japan, a diver searching for hammerhead sharks in the mid-1980s stumbled upon something entirely unexpected. A series of massive stone terraces, steps, and broad platforms stretching across the seafloor. The formations rise and fall in sharp angles, some resembling staircases, others taking the shape of broad plazas or even a stepped pyramid. The scale is immense. The largest terraces span nearly 150 meters in length, with vertical drops as tall as a 2-story building. Their clean lines and geometric precision sparked immediate debate. Professor Masaki Kimura of the University of the Ryukyus led a series of dives and surveys, cataloging features he believed could only be the work of an ancient civilization. Kimura argued these structures formed an underwater city, possibly built over 10,000 years ago, long before the oldest known Japanese settlements. He pointed to what looked like roads, canals, and even stone gates, suggesting a lost chapter of human history now hidden beneath the waves. But the case is far from settled. Professor Robert Schoch of Boston University, a geologist with years of fieldwork in Japan, examined the same formations and reached a starkly different conclusion. He described the Yonaguni terraces as the natural result of joint fracture geology. In this region, sandstone breaks along vertical and horizontal planes, creating blocks and steps that mimic architectural forms. Similar formations appear on land nearby, shaped by earthquakes and relentless ocean currents. The Yonaguni Monument sits at the crossroads of science and speculation. If carved by people, it would rewrite the timeline of civilization in Asia. If natural, it stands as a reminder of nature's ability to imitate the patterns of human hands. The debate continues, with each new expedition adding detail but never delivering certainty. The stones remain silent, leaving open the question, ancient city or geological wonder? September 2023, deep in the Gulf of Alaska. At a depth of 3,300 meters, where sunlight never reaches and pressure crushes anything unprepared, a team of NOAA scientists piloted their remotely operated vehicle across the seafloor. The cameras caught something that stopped the team cold, a perfectly smooth golden sphere about 4 inches across, resting alone on the silty bottom. The object's surface was unblemished, its color strikingly bright even in artificial light. Standard protocol called for careful sampling. A robotic arm reached out, delicately lifting the orb and sealing it in a sterile container for transport to the surface. Back in the lab, researchers confirmed the sphere was organic. It contained biological material, but no known species matched its structure or composition. The orb's golden pigmentation was especially confounding. At this depth, color serves little purpose. No predator or mate could see it, and chemical markers for camouflage or warning would be wasted in total darkness. Theories surfaced. Perhaps it was an egg from an unidentified deep-sea creature or a rare life stage of something previously cataloged. Genetic sequencing began, but the results offered no clear answers. The orb's DNA did not match any known database. Its function and origin remained elusive. A simple golden sphere found thousands of meters below the waves now sits in a laboratory, its existence raising more questions than answers. What creature made this? Why the gold? In the vast darkness of the abyss, how many more such enigmas are waiting undiscovered? In 1995, divers exploring the sandy seafloor off southern Japan stumbled upon something that looked almost too precise for nature. Perfect circles, each about 7 feet across, appeared in the sediment, delicate geometric patterns radiating like underwater crop circles. For years, no one could explain their origin. Geologists speculated about strange currents or rare chemical reactions. Marine biologists wondered if some unknown animal was at work, but no creature had ever been seen making them. The answer came in the early 2000s, when patient researchers set up underwater cameras and watched the mystery unfold. Tiny male pufferfish, barely the length of a human hand, were the architects. Driven by courtship, they spent days fanning their fins and pushing sand into ridges and valleys, sculpting intricate circles to attract a mate. The patterns weren't random, they were deliberate, precise, and remarkably consistent. Females would inspect the designs, choosing the most impressive nest to lay their eggs. The revelation solved the puzzle, but it also deepened it. Why circles? How does a small fish, alone in the shifting currents, create such flawless geometry? The pufferfish's artistry revealed a level of intelligence and instinct that scientists had never expected. Even when a mystery is solved, sometimes the answers only raise more profound questions about the hidden talents of life beneath the waves. May 16, 2022, Mossel Bay, South Africa. From the air, drones and helicopters tracked a pod of 5 orcas moving with purpose through waters known for great white sharks. Among them, 2 males stood out, port and starboard, each with a collapsed dorsal fin already infamous among local researchers. That day, the team captured what had never been seen so clearly before. Orcas hunting great whites in a coordinated assault. Starboard was filmed closing in on a shark, executing a precise attack that targeted the liver, a nutrient-rich organ. Within minutes, the shark floated lifeless, its liver expertly removed. The footage, published in the scientific journal Ecology, confirmed what years of forensic strandings had only suggested. After the hunt, local shark cage diving logs and satellite tags recorded a sudden exodus. Great whites vanished from the bay, leaving a silence that lasted for weeks. Marine biologists studying the event recognized more than just predation. They saw a calculated strategy passed among orcas, capable of reshaping the region's entire food web. The question now is not just how orcas learned this technique, but whether such knowledge spreads through teaching, hinting at a kind of cultural transmission in the deep sea. The implications are staggering, and the patterns of predator and prey in these waters may never be the same. In July 2023, at Explorer Seamount in the Northeast Pacific, researchers aboard a Canadian survey vessel expected to find an extinct volcano, a cold relic of the sea floor. Instead, their instruments registered a pulse of heat, hydrothermal vents pouring geothermally warmed water into the deep. The summit of the seamount rises 5,250 feet above the surrounding plain, its slopes veined with fissures where shimmering hot fluids escape. Cameras revealed a living oasis, dense colonies of corals and tube worms thriving in the mineral-rich currents. But the real astonishment came with the discovery of egg cases scattered across the warm slopes. Over 1 million Pacific white skate eggs, each encased in a leathery pouch, blanketed the terrain. No other nursery of this scale had ever been documented in the deep sea. The geothermal warmth appears to speed up the skate's development, offering a rare evolutionary advantage in the cold abyss. Yet how these animals locate the vents, or why such a massive congregation occurs here and nowhere else, remains unknown. The implications are staggering. If one seamount can harbor this much hidden life, what else might be waiting just beyond the reach of our maps? Today, more than 95% of the deep ocean remains unexplored. Recent decades have revealed a 60-meter disk in the Baltic Sea that resists clear explanation, submerged terraces off Yonaguni debated by scientists, and a golden biological sphere found at 3,300 meters that no lab has classified. We have watched pufferfish engineer perfect circles, orcas overturn the hierarchy of apex predators, and a supposedly extinct seamount shelter over 1 million skate eggs. Yet for every discovery, new questions emerge. Who or what shaped the Baltic disk? Is Yonaguni a lost city or nature's work? What organism creates a golden sphere in absolute darkness? As of 2024, 73% of the sea floor still lacks detailed mapping. Each expedition has shown that the ocean's secrets are far from exhausted. The implications are clear. The deep sea holds mysteries that challenge what we know and remind us how much remains undiscovered. We're counting down the 6 most terrifying creatures lurking in Earth's oceans. From elusive survivors in oxygen-starved darkness to predators with jaws and bodies straight out of nightmares, each entry reveals a new level of adaptation and horror. Let's begin with number 6. 900 meters beneath the surface, in water where oxygen drops to just 3%, a 6-inch creature drifts through the darkness. The vampire squid, Vampiroteuthis infernalis, Literally, the vampire squid from hell moves with an unhurried calm, its blood-red eyes and cloak of webbed arms barely visible in the gloom. Unlike most predators of the deep, it survives not by hunting, but by feeding on a constant rain of marine snow, tiny fragments of dead plants and animals falling from above. Here, almost nothing else can breathe. The vampire squid's body is built for this suffocating world, with a metabolism so slow it can endure where others would perish. When threatened, it unfurls seary, fleshy spikes beneath its cape, transforming its silhouette into something monstrous. Instead of ink, it releases a cloud of glowing mucus, a bioluminescent smokescreen that confuses anything daring enough to attack. Scientists first observed a living vampire squid in 1992 and described the moment as seeing a ghost thrive where life should be impossible. Much about this animal remains unknown. Its true role in the deep-sea ecosystem is still a mystery, and no one can say how many drift through the vast, oxygen-starved abyss. Lurking between 550 and 7,020 feet below the surface, the giant isopod is a creature that seems impossible outside of nightmares. It crawls across the seafloor, armored and pale, with 14 legs moving in slow, deliberate waves. Most specimens measure about 19 to 36 centimeters, already unsettling for a crustacean, but in 2014, a NOAA expedition recovered a giant isopod that stretched to an astonishing 76 centimeters, nearly 2.5 feet long. The crew's log described a tense recovery, a jammed winch, a cracked pressure housing, and a last-minute scramble to save the specimen from vanishing back into the abyss. Scientists still debate how these animals reach such monstrous sizes. Some argue the cold, pressurized depths slow their metabolism, allowing them to grow over decades. Others believe it's the long waits between meals that trigger sudden growth spurts when food finally arrives. When resources run low, giant isopods have been known to cannibalize each other. No one knows which theory is right. What's certain is that these creatures are growing larger than anyone expected, and the reason why remains buried in the darkness. At nearly 16,400 feet below the surface, where the water is colder than ice and the pressure could crush a submarine, a small predator patrols the darkness. The fang-toothed fish measures just 7 inches from snout to tail, but its mouth is a gallery of weapons. 2 upper fangs, so large and sharp they curve outside the jaw, prevent the mouth from ever closing. Micro-CT scans confirm it. The fang-tooth has the largest teeth-to-body ratio of any fish alive. Each fang is shaped like a dagger designed to impale and trap anything unlucky enough to drift too close. Its body is compact, armored in rough scales, and its eyes are set deep, almost as if hiding from the world. The fang-tooth hunts by opening its mouth wide and sucking in prey, a deep-sea vacuum that swallows crustaceans, squid, and smaller fish in an instant. Specimens are rare, usually caught only by accident in trawl nets. Scientists have studied just a handful, and most questions about its life remain unanswered. How many exist in the abyss? How do they breed? For now, the fang-tooth remains an enigma, defined only by its impossible fangs and its ability to survive where almost nothing else can. At depths between 800 and 1,500 meters, the viperfish hunts where sunlight never reaches and pressure would crush anything unprepared. Its weapon is a thin, whip-like spine on its back tipped with a bioluminescent bulb. This lure flashes in bursts, like a strobe in the dark, drawing in smaller fish and squid that mistake it for food or shelter. As the light pulses, the viperfish waits motionless, jaws parted just enough to reveal backward curving fangs. These teeth are so long they reach past its own eyes, and so sharp they can impale prey in a single strike. The skull is hinged, snapping open and shut with speed that leaves little chance for escape. Once caught, the victim is caged inside, swallowed whole, and digested over days. Most viperfish never survive the journey to the surface. Their bodies collapse in the sudden drop in pressure, leaving only fragments for study. Researchers have tracked their movements with deep diving cameras, but live behavior remains a puzzle. Some scientists believe viperfish join the nightly vertical migration, rising hundreds of meters to hunt in more abundant waters before sinking back into darkness. The full extent of their predatory tactics and their role in the deep ocean's food web remains largely unknown, hidden behind a veil of flickering blue light and silence. In the cold, silent waters nearly a mile below the surface, a creature glides that seems unchanged by time itself. The frilled shark, often called a living fossil, moves with an ancient grace that predates the dinosaurs. Its body stretches up to 6 feet, long and eel-like, with a snake-like head and a mouth lined with around 300 backward-facing teeth. Each tooth is shaped like a trident, arranged in neat, nightmarish rows designed not to slice, but to trap anything that strays too close. Scientists studying its skeleton and organs have found almost no change in its basic form for more than 80 million years. This shark haunts the deep at depths reaching 4,900 feet, where sunlight never penetrates and the water hovers just above freezing. It swims slowly with its mouth agape, possibly to lure in prey or to catch the faintest scent of squid, its favorite food. Sometimes it will eat other sharks or fish, but most of its life remains hidden from view. What truly unsettles researchers is not just its ancient form, but its reproductive mystery. Females are believed to carry their young for as long as 3.5 years, a gestation period that, if confirmed, would be the longest of any shark. This estimate comes from indirect evidence, rare embryos found in captured specimens, comparisons with other deep-sea sharks, and the slow metabolism forced by the cold. No one has ever witnessed a frilled shark giving birth. In 2007, one surfaced off the coast of Japan, disoriented and dying, captured on shaky video by startled fishermen. Some blamed disease, others an underwater earthquake. For a brief moment, the world saw a living fossil at the surface, then it vanished, leaving only questions. The frilled shark is a survivor from another age, a reminder that the ocean's oldest secrets are often the hardest to reach. At depths where sunlight never reaches, sometimes as deep as 2,000 meters, an anglerfish drifts through the cold, crushing dark. Its body is small, rarely more than 6 inches long, but every feature is built for deception. Sprouting from its head is a thin, fleshy rod tipped with a glowing bulb. This lure isn't just a piece of anatomy, it's a living beacon powered by millions of symbiotic bacteria that produce light in total blackness. The anglerfish waves this lure slowly, a hypnotic signal in the emptiness. Small fish and crustaceans, drawn by what looks like a promise of food or shelter, swim closer. In a blink, jaws snap open and the prey is gone. The lure disappears back into the dark, ready to tempt the next visitor. But the anglerfish's true horror is not how it hunts, it's how it mates. In the deep, finding a partner is nearly impossible. So the male anglerfish, a fraction of the female size, has evolved a solution that defies belief. When a male encounters a female, he bites into her skin. Enzymes in his mouth dissolve the tissues between them. Over days, then weeks, his body fuses to hers. Blood vessels merge and his organs wither away. What's left is a living appendage, a permanent sperm donor fused to the female for life. Scientists have studied pairs brought up by submersible, the male reduced to a lump of flesh, eyes gone, no longer capable of independent life. Genetic analysis confirms their tissues have merged at the molecular level. The female can carry multiple fused males at once, each nothing more than a set of gonads, feeding off her blood in exchange for a chance to reproduce. This process, called sexual parasitism, has never been captured in the wild from start to finish. In 2016, researchers filmed a fused pair alive in the deep, but the act itself remains unseen, a mystery preserved by the abyss. Even now, every new specimen raises more questions than answers. The anglerfish stands alone as a predator and as a reproductive parasite, a creature whose very existence pushes the limits of what life can become in the ocean's darkest places. From the ghostly vampire squid in oxygen-starved waters to the anglerfish's horrifying fusion of hunter and mate at the top of our list, these 6 terrifying ocean creatures reveal just how little we understand about the abyss. Across every entry, one pattern stands out. The deep sea breeds extremes, gigantic scavengers, ancient survivors unchanged for millions of years, and predators with weapons nature rarely repeats. The most shocking surprises weren't just in size or teeth, but in strategies like bioluminescent deception and reproductive sacrifices beyond imagination. Each creature on this list qualified not just for its appearance, but for adaptations that push the limits of biology and survival. Together, they show the ocean's depths as a realm where evolution writes its strangest stories. With nearly 80% of the ocean still unexplored, these horrors are only a glimpse of the unknown. The deep sea keeps its secrets, and as these creatures prove, some are more unsettling than anything we could invent.